Hello, hello, and welcome to our already seventh Unlock Your Sugar Solution Masterclass. I feel that this is going better and better. We're creating better and better results. And even this masterclass is better and better because as we're learning from each other, I'm really trying to always make it better for you. And then you can have better and faster results. So I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for your messages. Thank you for comments that you tried some of these meals and snacks. I'm really happy because this is your time this week. I am here for you. I really want to hold your hand and go with you through this week. So you can really feel better already, because in 7 days, when you really remove all the processed food from your life and you remove the sugar, the refined sugar, refined starch, that's what we talk about all the time, the processed food, you will just feel so much better. Because the cravings is really the big reason how people fail. They fail, of course, all the time is how we see failure, but you know what I mean. People basically will do the work and then they stop and they go back to the where they were and ended up in the same place, or sometimes even worse. So I don't want this that's happening to you. That's why I want to really give you this holistic approach more, and not just give you meal plan and recipes, because you can find it everywhere. It's over the internet. You can buy any books in the shop, and you can have books as much as you want. If you don't practice it, I always said, you can have yoga books at the whole shelf, but if you don't practice yoga, you will not be fit, you will not be yogi, because it's not helpful only when you read something, but you have to implement it in everyday life. And that's why I really encourage you during the weekend to really prepare some meals, prepare some snacks, because this will really help you to succeed. It will help you to really be prepared better for when the cravings come. It will help you to be prepared when you have maybe hunger, and it will help you to prepare to face this emotional situation when I will talk about today. Today it's topic, be open-minded, because this topic, I'm not psychologist, but I want to really kind of shed a light a little bit on this topic, because we all have it. We all, time to time, really can have tendency to emotional eating. So I just like to talk about that today, because I think it's very important. I think it's always good way to start from inside out. We can have now some resolutions, like we want to have a better weight. Maybe we want to be looking better in bikini. Maybe we want, I don't know what, like it's outside reasons. But I want you to look inside. What you need to help, what do you really need your health for? And this way, if you start from inside out, the build a why, this will move you forward. You will never run out of the motivation, because the why will be so huge. It will be the life force that will bring you forward. So for example, I can tell you, for me, I just want to feel the joy that I have every day when I take care of myself with the food I eat. I have so much joy and I feel energized. So for me, it's the energy. And that's why because I have the experience every single day. I know when I have a cake, I will have an energy drop. I will be fatigued. I will have cravings. I will have all these things that's why you're here. I will have that after the cake. Or if I go with friends to the restaurant and I say, yeah, I have the whole meal, starter, meal, and dessert, I would feel bad that evening. I will have bad night and I will have cravings in the morning, just like everybody else, if you're eating too much. Sometimes if it will be 2 nights, which I very rarely have, overeating like this, I even, you can even develop reflux. Like really, it's the food is such a game changer. It can be such a breakthrough if you change the way how you live and what you eat and how you eat, and and why you eat as well. So that's why it's really, and for me now, I'm at the stage that you will be there too. If you're not there yet, you will be there too. It's only because I'm on this journey many years. But if you're just starting this journey, or you're losing same kilos or pounds again and again. I just don't want you to be discouraged, because if you will find this why inside and you will just make it on the outside, you will find the motivation to really go forward and do the work, because this is a daily practice and the results might not come tomorrow. Yes, if you cut sugar today and you will not have it for 7 days, you will feel relief, like that's for sure. But if you want to lose 100 pounds, if you want to get rid of inflammation, if you want to have more energy and really get rid of any symptoms, it needs more work, it needs more dedication, more commitment, and it needs time. Because just think how many decades we are really abusing the body, like having so much things that we should not be eating. We are stressed, we have sedentary lifestyle, and then we want results like within few months. If you join some program, it doesn't work like that. We have to just take it all in, create space, and work with the body. And for each of you will be different. And especially if you just want to lose weight, this is like, it's really not that difficult. And I can tell you that you will lose weight if you want to do that. Because if you apply intermittent fasting, if you take off the sugar and replace it with something else, I will talk about it on Friday, you will not feel this that you are missing something, and you will start loving the food, the new food. Because in the beginning, it can be like, if people can be discouraged, can be, oh, I'm not sure I'm eating this food. This is not looking good, mixing avocado with chocolate. But you will see, if you have it first time, have a try another time. Because we know that it's 7 times. That's what I did with my kids. I gave them the same food 7 times. And I can tell you, after 7th time, it's very often sooner. They would just not, they didn't complain. They would just eat it. And they would actually enjoy it. So cravings and hunger are really, it's quite complicated. They're very complex. They are linked, but they're separate, because it's really very complex. And this area was really, unfortunately, was not really researched. And but what we know is that the sugar is linked to the reward center in the brain, and dopamine signaling. So we, unfortunately, when we're eating too much sweets, we can really hijack the dopamine pathway. And that's why this is the feeling we have when we having the sugar, or when we having the chocolate. Basically, the dopamine is talking. So we artificially making ourselves feel good with the sugar. And this is something that we have to stop, because this is not the way to go forward, because then you are on on this roller coaster, which will have really can potentially be linked to creating more inflammation, creating more and more cravings, more and more hunger. And so we eat more and more. And that's risk with obesity. Obesity is a risk with diabetes. Diabetes is a high risk with Alzheimer's disease. And I can go on and on. So we have to go back to basics and really start with cravings. So cravings can be really triggered with what you see, what you smell, what you feel. And it's really, the sugar is highly addictive. And it's unlike with other drugs, like, for example, nicotine. We can survive without nicotine, but we cannot survive actually without food. We need food and we need glucose, but the body is so smart that creates glucose even without us eating it, because we can create glucose as well from the fat. And so the body can create it. So what we want really is to create metabolic flexibility, so we can tap and take energy from sugar and from fat. If we are eating all the time sugar, the body will always take first sugar instead of fat. That's why when we're eating all the time sugar, we cannot lose the fat and use it for energy, because we have always sugar in on hand, the body has. So that's why. And as well, insulin, every time when the sugar is high, insulin as a hormone is high. And when hormone insulin is high, because it's a fat storage hormone, we cannot lose weight, because it stores the fat in a body. So that's why sometimes the diabetic patients have really hard time to lose weight, because if they're using insulin as a drug, This is very hard. And so it's time to stop the cycle, stop feeding the cycle, and really slowly show your body that there is a better way. And the cravings, they don't necessarily go away, but they soften. And what replace them is feeling of stability, is feeling of this consistent energy when you wake up and you just have energy to start your day, and feeling of really stable mood. That's what I find for myself, that the energy and the mood were critical. And I see it in my kids as well, that if they have something sweet, the mood will change and the energy will have high and then will be dropped. So and feeling really feeling of wanting actually move more and exercise because you have energy to do it. And for me, oftentimes, when I'm on this journey, I said several years at this point, making choices not to have high blood sugar spike, not because I am restricting myself, like, oh, I cannot have this because of, I'm not paranoid about this. It's simply because the feeling, how I feel in my body, how I have really high energy, it's more for me than the momentarily high of the chocolate. And I can tell you, this was I know it very well from a hospital, because as a young daughter, I always we were always busy, and patients took us give us chocolate bonbons, and we will have always boxes of chocolate. And of course, I would go and I never have time really to go to lunch properly. And so what I ended up eating all this chocolate. And the thing is, when you start, you can't really finish. I mean, I'm sure you know it yourself as well. When you start eating chocolate, a box of bonbons, you just do it as long as there's nothing left. So this is something that you will stop doing. You will be able to say, okay, one is enough. Or maybe you have two or three, but then you stop actually, and you actually stop. And this is when you will realize, like, wow, like I have power over the sugar. That is, sugar has not power over you, because now we are in a mercy really of this sugar and of the the sugar addiction, which is really happening in our bodies, because we're just eating it too much, because it's hiding everywhere, lurking from everywhere. So it's something that it's really important to realize. And so cravings will always be there. We are human beings, but you'll be able, if you do the work, you'll be able to really reduce them massively, and you will feel much better, and you will actually choose not to have it, because you will appreciate how you feel in your body. I call it, imagine that we will talk about gut microbiome, because I always like I would tell you that, like, imagine is a garden with plants, but my body, imagine you're like a lot of flowers, like you have flower garden. And this is like you are blooming and you're feeling good and you have the joy, actually, it's just the whole picture is like, if you feel fantastic. And then imagine that you are full of weeds. We have egg here and it's just full of weeds. And that's really, this is how I felt when I did some work. I had to go to a hospital in England for some really intense work for 1 month. And I just have a sandwich here and there. I was doing fasting, didn't have a chocolate, but even not having the nutrition that I usually have, I was really sitting a lot. Of course, I was stressed. I didn't sleep enough. So it was the whole package. And in 1 month, I felt like it was such a big toll for my body, and I felt like, oh, I have to weed this, this my body, that I can plant again the flowers. And it's quick. It can be really quick. So if you know what to do and how to do it, this can be a really question of week, or maybe even less days, like 3-4 days, 5 days, maximum 1 week. When you're starting, it can take 3 weeks to go back. For example, now after holiday season, if some of you were in this journey, and you just suddenly, like, you gain weight over Christmas, which is normal, everybody does it. but people never realize it. And then another Christmas, 10 pounds, another Christmas, 10 pounds, and 3 years they have 30 pounds more. It's like, what happened? I don't do anything different. Well, it's because this is, you have to constantly have the dialogue with your body and really see what's happening, because if you neglect it, it just goes its own way. And that's, we have to go back to this feeling of our body. And that's what I want for you. And so this is the way how to go, because when we are balance the sugar better, I'm not saying go sugar free. Sugar free is not, I think it's not idea for just if you want to have normal life. Sugar free for someone who has some disease. For example, we know that epilepsy, if you have epilepsy, if you go on ketogenic diet, this is a really therapeutic plan, and you will have great success with that. As well, we know that depression is linked to diabetes. It's much more often people with diabetes will have depression compared to people who don't have diabetes. And we know that really there is 2 steps to go to if you have diabetes. Really, the link to Alzheimer is huge. So what we really want to go upstream, and really work on the basics, and that is the working on a trigger food. I will tell you today about emotional eating, and working on how you will feel your body. There is a great book that calls Mind Over Medicine, and this is from Dr. Ratkin, I think, and she did as well. As we always do, as doctors, we always find a thing that works, and then we start something because we want to spread a joy. We want to tell everyone that you do this instead, because it's so easy to take a pill. I'm not saying, of course, I'm grateful for modern medicine. I'm not saying that, but with the chronic diseases, we cannot just we cannot just use pill for every ache and pain, because we have to find out what is the root cause. And the same is all the gastrointestinal issues that we have is as well nutrition related, diet related in a big way. So today, so cravings will be better. But again, I don't want you to have, I'm not proponent of sugar-free life. I eat cakes, I eat, things that are sweet, but just it's about moderation, and find what is your tipping point. So for me, its tipping point is I can have one excess of like this with a dessert or late dinner, and then I cannot have anything for 2 months to 3 months, because that will be too much. I would feel it on my body, and it will just the feeling of joy is much more for me than enjoying too often these dinners and things. So but we're all different, of course. So emotional eating. Again, I'm not psychologist, but I need to tell you that because this can really open your view on things, how you can help yourself better and navigate this sugar cravings better. Because it's not only, if you're looking only for counting calories and doing meal plan, this is not sustainable. We want to create something that will work for you from now on until the end, like that you will just find your balance and do the work that you need to do. The pressure from family is huge. What I mean by it, if you decide to do this work, be very aware that if you do it yourself alone, it will be very hard to get some really long-lasting results. Because imagine if your husband wants to eat McDonald's and you want to have smoothie and avocado and this doesn't work. So please have deep conversation that is good for everyone in family. Luckily, my kids were little when I did my journey, and it's easy if I'm cooking for a whole family, and my husband, he would eat what I cook anyway. But he did my program actually during COVID, and he can't go back. Now he feels everything, and he lost weight, and he feels so good, like never before. And now he says, oh my gosh, I feel the one beer, and he's so happy because he's now so sensitive, and he has much more like better performance and more energy. So it's something that it's really, it's fantastic. And I just want to, all of you feeling that way. So emotional eating theory states that negative emotion can induce eating. Of course, when you eat, when you have this negative emotion, this will, this has capacity to really reduce their intensity. So that means that if we eat, we feel less of that feeling. So if we sad, we eat. Oh, I feel better now. So this is the reason why we have to stop, because this is not we're not helping our body like that. Sometimes I'm not saying having lovely time with your friend, enjoying chocolate and talking about the stuff, and maybe it's sad. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about really the reason why you take the cookie, why you take the chocolate, why you take the chips, and so on. So it's essential to really observe and find the triggers that create these cravings and more cravings, because it's a vicious cycle. You are eating certain way, and you again, it's the sugar roller coaster going on, as well hormonal disbalances. And so it's quite often many of us are prone to emotional eating. It is not like nothing like to be afraid of, but we have to really address it, we have to assess it, and we have to really observe ourselves. And I was really using chocolate as a quick fix in my busy clinic for years, so I know what I'm talking about. But I really want to encourage you and really think what are the triggers in your life from the moment you wake up to the moment when you go to sleep, the places where you are during the day, if it's work, if it's people, sometimes those are people, and what is really triggering your cravings and hunger, because you will find the answer for sure. If you will give it a time and you will observe, you will find the answer. And it's important, because if you find the answer, you can change it. So that this is where basically this is why we're talking about it today, because it doesn't help if you will go on meal plan for 2 weeks, and then you will not go under the surface all the triggers, what's happening, and you are able to change for months, change for 2 months. But the transformation that I'm talking about, this is more than change, because change can go back to your old self. Transformation is something when you find something that works, the inner, that's what I was talking about, the why you want your health for. And when you find this, you'll find the life force, like, and you will do the work, and you will be committed, because it will be like no other way. You don't want to live the life in other way, and you don't want to feel any pain and aches, because that's what when we feel this inflammatory food, that this can happen to us. And so to be able to like kind of reduce or sometimes stop the emotional eating, it's good to ask yourself the 3W: what, when, and why. I create this because I realized that these are really powerful kind of 3Ws, because when we uncover the what we eating and when we eating it and why we eating it, we basically fill the blank, and we know what's happening pretty fast. And so you have to ask yourself this: what, when, and why you need this comfort food. If it's maybe, and then I go to the other point, all the emotional feelings, because sometimes we want like energy to cheer us up. That's when we can be on the sugar roller coaster. Sometimes we want to have it because we have tough day. So we have like, okay, no, now at the evening I had a hard day, so let's have a chocolate, let's have a glass of wine. So, but it's important to recognize these patterns, because it's really it will be much easier it will be easier to resist giving in. And also, don't forget that if we are sad, it will not solve the problem why we are sad. So it's something that we as well have to kind of see the cause. Sometimes even food can make us sad. I will talk about it later, but we always have to look at the emotional aspect of things, and really there are some important questions to ask. So you know, sometimes we have more cravings, and we can eat more and have this feeling like we eat too much when we, for example, preparing food. So you're preparing food, you're trying, you're eating, and then you sit down for dinner. It will be just too much. So try to really, can be one trigger for the cravings, that we really are always craving food when we're cooking it. So try to just, yes, try a little bit, or say, okay, I sit down and then I eat the food. Or maybe you will be triggered with someone seeing that you see someone next to you on your desk, like colleague that eating with a computer. By the way, it's never a good idea, because we need the space for eating. We need to salivate, because if we don't have enough of saliva that goes down, we create all these digestive issues. So there's all reason when our moms used to say, sit with your food and don't look at the newspaper or screen when we eat. It all has a reason, because it's all connected. We know that when we cooking our own food, already the smell that we smell when we cook the food in the kitchen, it's already preparing the digestive system for the food to come. So it all really matters. Sometimes the triggers can be a certain time of the day that you might be eating more. So for example, for some people, it's 10 o'clock is the time when you had a breakfast, but because the breakfast was really poor in nutrients, you are immediately again hungry, and that's the 10 o'clock. Then you have muffin or some biscuit or cookie or something, and then you already starting the roller coaster. I can tell you that when you start in the morning with sweets, the whole day is gone. You will never catch up. So that's why it's so important, the breakfast, that it's not sweet, because that's you set the tone of the day. Because then, and people tell me very, like, quite often actually, they say, oh, you know what, if I have something sweet for breakfast, then I have a cravings all day long. And I agree with that. The same for me as well, actually. I can manage the cravings, but I know that they're there because I had something sweet. That was actually recently. My kids, they made me coffee, and they put so much chocolate in it. And I said, oh my gosh, I feel awful after this. Of course, I drank it, but I like immediately I had a little bit of brain fog, and then I had cravings all day. I said, oh, I have to eat this. So I did what I'm teaching you today. Like, I had to prepare snacks and be proactive, because I said, okay, I have a craving, so I have to eat some food. So I help the cravings to subside. So it's very important. And so this, sometimes we use this food as a self-soothe mechanism, which is really not good. And as I said, again, you have to recognize a pattern, because when you recognize a pattern, you can develop strategy to break it. It can be scared, don't be scared, because you will choose how far you go. But I'm just telling you that it's really more than just about meal plans and just not having sugar. You have to really be strategic, and see this as a holistic approach, because that's only way how you can go out of it. Because you have to see your body as a temple, as something that it's it's not about having, like, following a ketogenic diet or vegan or this and that. No, it's not. It's about following something that is good for you, and only you can say that what it is. You can learn things here with me, but end of the day, what is good for you, only you can tell. There are some general guidance, of course. We know that nobody's good with this sugar roller coaster. Spikes, obviously, we all will have same things. We all will be like, and then you have the drop. You see that with children. So, like, it's just such a good example. And we all ignore it. You have the birthday party. You see the kids like, running like this. Energy is through the roof. And then they sit in the car and they either collapse, they're either tired, so they fall asleep, or they will just have tantrum, or they will just be so tired. And this is the sugar roller coaster curve. This is what we're doing. So we have to stop. We don't. Ketogenic diet is like this. There's basically no spike. What we want is rolling hills. It's something that we eat nutritious, delicious meals that will create a little bit of spike, but not big enough to create all these cravings and craziness. So second thing is blast technique. So the first one is 3W, is the what, the why, and when. And a second that I want you to remember and really have it as a tool and to help you is to really to look at the blast. So blast, what is blast? B is for boring. L, when you're bored. L is for loneliness, and it's for as well lessons. A is for anxiety. S is for stress, and T is for if we're eating when we're tired. Those are the main. Of course, there are many more, but those are the main ones that I recognized from talking to you, so many of you, that those are the main. That's why I created this blast, because I thought that then if we know these, we can work with it, and if we work with it, we can find a way out of it. And so and actually I can tell you my story. So during COVID, because my family is in Europe and we were living in New Jersey in US, and so I was really craving, well, I had a period and I was really craving sometime a lot of sweets. And so of course I didn't have any, because I know what to do. So I was like eating a lot of things, and but I'm thinking like, it's weird why I'm craving these things. I normally don't crave this. And then that was the week when I was doing this work. And when I was presenting, I'm thinking, yeah, actually, I feel lonely. I miss my family. And that was my breakthrough. That was my light bulb moment when I realized, oh my gosh, I learned myself now again. One more lesson for me. So I was feeling lonely, that I miss my family. And that's why I was always kind of thinking about it and like having my way to get chocolate. And then I realized, oh no, there's so, and I deal with it, and I untangle it, and I call my family. I said, oh my gosh, can you imagine? And we talk about it, and it was all better. But it's just about being open, having this growth mindset instead of the fixed mindset. The growth mindset, when you are learning from every step you live your life. Like I learn every day something about life or myself. And so I want to just invite you to be actually the Carol Dweck, that was a psychologist, or she is psychologist. She wrote this book, Mindset, and she's talking about growth and fixed mindset. She's if this is really like fantastic book. If you have feeling that you are a perfectionist and you want to do everything like perfectly, and you have this tendency of, which I had as well before, that like you feel sometimes as a failure. This is really a great book, because nothing is failing. Nothing is failing. It's just a lesson for us to take and learn from it. And so it like this will completely change everything. It did for me too. And that's why we want growth mindset. We don't want we never fail. We basically, that was a hard lesson we have to take, and we take it on and walk further. So blast. So blast is B is for when we be eating when you're bored. Classic example is when you finish the work, or just you come home, or whatever it is at the weekends, like what can I have? So instead of snacking when you're really not really hungry, or when you just like want to have something because you have nothing else to do, just distract yourself. When you have time, go for a walk, or sometimes even watching movie can help. You can go out with a dog. You can play with your kids. You can read. You can do so many things. You can call your family, listen to music. Actually, as well, what really works for cravings actually is physical activity. This is a science-based. We know that if we even do jumping jacks or anything, if I just start dancing now, if I put a song in my phone and start dancing, this will help me to really, if I'm stressed, if I'm having cravings from some reason, I will calm down. It always works. Sometimes you can do just jumping jacks or anything. Now I'm doing with my husband every evening, we're doing push-ups, press-ups. So that's kind of my challenge now, because I have to work on my muscles. That's my weakness. And we all have to work on muscles. Building muscle is super important. This will improve your insulin sensitivity. It will improve your metabolic health. We need muscles. It will help you to protect your bones, because when we get older, this is our problems. We're losing muscles already now, every day, on daily basis. We're losing muscles. When we go old, this causes sarcopenia, and this is when we have bad fall, and something always breaks, and that's what we don't want. So this is not for topic today, but building muscle is really huge, and actually it will help you as well with cravings. So it was B, blast. Sorry, B as a boredom. So L actually, there are two things. L is when we eat when we are lonely. And the second is that we learning from our mistakes, from our setbacks. So the first L, when we feel lonely, we are likely to give in emotional eating, because if you don't have a good support network, this can happen very easily. That's why lean on your family or friends, and really consider as well, that's why you are in this group. Just that's why I'm here this week, really. And so if you need some support, just tell us, and I'm here for you. I'm here for you no matter what this week. So take advantage of this. And if you have often this feeling, if you're alone, if you don't have family around and you want to do this work, please even schedule a call with me. We can talk, and I will empower you as much as I can, so you can really turn around and do something that will feel so good. And so yeah, when we're feeling lonely, just do something that will feel better. Watch a movie. Again, same thing. Always the things, the old works for everything. So listen to music will help you when you are bored as well, when you're lonely. And so that applies to all of the negative emotions. And the L is the second L, for learning from setbacks and from your mistakes or from experiences, really. So if you have episode of one of this event, just don't feel don't feel guilty or something. We don't want guilt here at all. We don't want shame. We don't want blame. Nothing. We just want to forgive ourselves, like we're doing our best. So just embrace it, and be happy that you can live another day, that we made it. Our heart is beating and we're still alive. It's fantastic. So start fresh every moment, like another hour, next hour, start new. If it's too much, start next day. But don't wait next January or something. Just start fresh, next moment, next hour, next minute, whatever. But really try to learn from your experiences, because this is horrible if we're doing all the same mistakes again and again. So try to focus on that and make a plan so you can prevent this in the future. It's very super important, not only in this, it's in life in general, but especially with this eating the wrong food in the wrong time. This really will change your life completely. And focus really on positive changes, like praise yourself if you are without snacking for half a day, or if you are for 2 hours. For someone it's a big deal. So just really be positive, and focus on yourself, and really be real and be authentic. Because if you will just be in denial, which all sometimes we can be, like I was in denial all my life, that I thought I was not stressed. But when I started doing meditation and yoga, I was like, oh my gosh, I was stressed all my life. And so sometimes we have to have this wake up calls and say, okay, well, things are a bit different than that. So there was a BLAA is anxiety. And very often you ask me, does sugar increase anxiety? And I say yes, because we know how sugar, like gut brain axis. There is a great a guy. It's It's Drew Ramsey. He's from New York. He's a doctor and he is a nutritional psychiatrist. And he is all about he's all about gut brain connection. So if someone is really if this is your where you want to improve things, I would highly suggest this. But you will learn a lot as well this week. I'm talking about gut health as well on Wednesday. But many of people don't realize this, that sugar is really everywhere. It's even in savory foods. So for example, if you take the tomato sauce, the tomato basil sauce, in one 1/2 cup of servings, which you have one meal, there's 12 grams of sugar, so 3 teaspoons. And if you have more than that, you easily eat, if you have doubled that, which can be really lunch for someone, you eat 9 teaspoons and you even don't know it. And it's a meal that doesn't need sugar. Tomato sauce doesn't need sugar, but because they want created this bliss point, this food companies created bliss point, which is like the perfect mixture of sugar, salt, vinegar, and that makes it's highly addictive, as well with glutamate and all that. So same is with the yogurt, because the tomato sauce we eat quite some quantity, right? Same with the yogurt, like the jar. It has, look next time. It's really a lot of sugar in this jar of yogurt. So I always go for plain yogurt, because that will give you maybe 5 to 9 grams of sugar per 100 grams, which is okay. This I would do, but because that's 1 spoon, 2 spoon, max 3, and but not more. Not actually 2 spoons, yeah. So the same is with the smoothies. I was talking about it last time, but the smoothies, the green smoothies, is disaster because they market it as healthy option, but there's no fiber, and they are all fruits. So it's like if you have smoothie with pineapple, banana, kiwi, mango, it's all fruits, and it's such a high amount of sugar at one go that the liver, because there's a lot of fructose as well, because it's fruits, the liver will be overwhelmed. And that's why when we're eating this kind of foods, we have a lot of cases now with fatty liver disease, and we didn't have that in 60s. Fatty liver disease was only people who were addicted to alcohol, like the alcoholics. Now we have it even in children. It's very sad, it's very concerning, and it's because the fructose and glucose, they metabolize differently. So the glucose, we take some energy from glucose, but fructose goes straight to the liver, and if it's too much, it causes damage, because like we have to, it's immediately metabolize it to change to fat, and then if it's too much, it's nowhere to go. So we create it can easily be created by risk for fatty liver disease. But you can reverse it if it's not yet the tissue is not damaged. So it's I want to be positive, but it's always much better to prevent things than to, if you're sick already, to put it in remission. But I put my things into remission. So I had high insulin resistance. I think I was pre-diabetic already. Even I was not obese. I had just this belly fat. But this is something that we have to be very, very, very careful, because not always, of course, obesity is high risk for diabetes. But we know that you don't need to be obese, but you can have diabetes because of the low muscle mass, a lot of eating sugar, and when we damage the liver and create the sugar, the insulin resistance, this is one step to, and that's basically a diabetes. And so I was able to reverse it, and my insulin now is like so low. You can check it. If you never check insulin, doctors normally don't do that. I would highly recommend doing it, and the level should be less than 10. And so, but they will tell you, oh, we don't do that. So just ask them. And because that's the sign that, how high the insulin is. And so the S is for stress. So BLAS. as is for stress, I think I don't need to talk more. If stress contributes to your emotional eating, try to try any stress management techniques such as yoga, meditation, relaxation. It's all, even the breath. If you take the breath now with me, already that will calm you down. This one deep breath. And if you do this several times a day, you will be in a different place, because you will learn how to manage the stress. Because sometimes I mean, I was myself, it was like always like on this hamster wheel. But now you have to, this is not this is not life. We have to, of course, we all have stress, but the thing is that the difference is how we respond to it. So I want to really encourage you. The breathing, it will cost you how much time? It's like 10 seconds. And if you breathe for 1 minute, it's really a long time. And in the 1 minute, you can really calm down a big way. So it's not like, arguments like, oh, I don't have time, meditate. No, if you don't have time to breathe properly, you have to change your life, because this will have consequences. And I'm not joking. I don't want to be like negative or something, but I lived it. I was so stressed and I was eating bad and I didn't take care of myself. I have a late night because I was having a lot of night shifts, and I become sick. I had inflammation everywhere on my skin, and the doctors was like, "Oh, you have to have antibiotics like for years." And this is what I was prescribing to my patients, but I said, "No, I have to do something." And I did it, and it was not easy, but if you do this work, it might not be easy, but you will never regret it. You will be walking this new way of living, and it will feel so good. So I'm so passionate about it. I'm sorry. It's just like I want that you all feel that great. And I'm sure those who did the work, just say something here in the comment, because for those who need a little encouragement, because this is it's just so important to do this work for your health. And T is the last one. It's about when you're tired. So when we're tired, just go to sleep. When you're tired, lie down. When you're tired, try to do something that you refresh your energy, instead of really achieving going for the cookie, going for the chocolate, going for the red wine or something as end of the day, because it will not help. You will just feed the cycle. And so really it's powerful if and it will help you to really take the right step and to stop this behavior. So this was like really I think important to start with. I normally start with why sugar is bad, but I think it's like you hear it now from everywhere. I don't need to. This was when I started 2 years ago, was all about sugar, how it's bad for cavities. And if you're still having cavities today, you must take off sugar of your diet, because you don't need to have cavities. Like I didn't have cavities for years. You don't need to have cavities. Same is with the weight. You don't need to gain weight because you're going older. No, we can have the same weight as you got married. Like you don't need to gain weight. So those are the things that we kind of, the society like tell us, like the society as well told us the guidelines, like eat 5 times a day, which we know this is not the way forward. We want the end result is to having, a little bit of breathing in the morning, then have a cold shower after warm shower, do intermittent fasting, which we call circadian fasting, see the light as the first thing in the morning, and really just embrace the living and feel the joy when you do this, because this will help you to be more productive. You will do more work. You will be a better person to be around, because your mood will not go up and down, and you will have a lot of energy, and you will just be more healthier. I mean, this is really, it's so much science now to prove it. And even as well now in ophthalmology, we know that these high glycemic diets really are detrimental for our eyesight, for our eye health. In a long way, because when we're eating this food for decades, we know that diabetics patient has a much higher risk developing cataract, and as well the age-related macular degeneration is linked we see from experiments that when we eat high sugary foods, something that we can be high risk in that. So we don't want that. Same is with all other really diseases, the chronic diseases. That's something that is linked to food and lifestyle. So I hope it was not overwhelming today. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. There's things that you can do today. I will leave it open up to you. I create one thread for homework, and I would love to see your answers there. I love that you try some of these. Janet, you said that you tried the mousse. It's great. And you tried the crackers. This is fantastic. I'm really happy. And absolutely right. Like, it can be too much to eating all these new foods, but just keep trying and try different things. And I will be here for you this week. So take advantage of it. Really, if you're serious, if you want to commit, schedule call with me, and I will help you. We can sketch some plan for you as an action step, so you can really do the work. Because we don't want that we know that the New Year resolution finishes by 21st of January. We don't want that. We want something that we start now and we keep going until we will just know how it feels to feel great. And we will know what to do. All right. So that was today. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have some nuggets from today that you can really trust, starting applying today. Really, the family, our social interaction is absolutely, it's so big. Who you eat with will really dictate what you will eat. Unless you have deep conversation and you say, listen, we have to do things a bit different. Your friends, classic example. Where, sometimes I have clients and we have to have a discussion, because if the clients have Monica, a friend Monica that goes with my client goes with Monica every Wednesday to a restaurant, and they have always some drink. That will not work. So say, Monica, let's do something else. So she did. They went for walk, they went to cinema, and they skip, because if you have this social interaction and it's established, it's very difficult. You will feel like you are, like you are letting your friend down, if you know what I mean. Same is with pizza night, like Friday pizza night. It's a big thing. And or if your friend's family will bring you food, and I had it so many times. My friend, I was fasting all day, and I went to her, and I miss her. And she was cooking so well, and she's like, oh no, yeah, you have to have this one. And I said, oh my goodness. I was fasting all day, but of course I want to make her happy. So I had a little bit. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I said, you know what, I'm fasting today, I skip. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to get into that place where you will be like the first most important thing, and not what other people think. Because people who care about you, they will not be upset that you don't have pizza or you have salad instead, if you know what I mean. But it's a big thing, and and now when I speak with some of my clients, they say that, like, it's a big deal. For example, if someone lose 100 pounds, imagine suddenly you lose 100 pounds, and you go still with your friends that they didn't lose the 100 pounds, like how they feel and how you feel about them. It's like you have to talk about these things, because it will be different interaction. Because maybe you don't have the huge pizza like they have, you don't have the chicken wings like they will have. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so complex. So I want to, like, really be doing this in a bit different way, maybe that you used to. But I know that this is only way how it works. This is only way how you can really get some results. There's some tangible results that they will bring you some happiness and joy, and especially health. We want to be healthy, because when we're healthy, we can have this body for longer, and it's lovely to be alive. So and it's lovely to feel the joy. All right. So I will be here again tomorrow, 9 o'clock on Zoom and in the Facebook group in the afternoon at 4 p.m. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.